Just a few short hours ago, 5 of the former FaZe members went live together, that being Silky, Lacy, Adapt, Jason, and Ronaldo. And they ended up giving an update as well as confirming that no, this is not just some publicity stunt. They all actually have left FaZe and gave a little bit of information as well as what they're going to be doing next. Also in the same time frame, 2 of the more notable members, that being FaZe Rug and FaZe Apex, have officially left FaZe Clan, leaving them with 0 other members on that side of the org. There are still a couple left on the esports side. In addition to that, it seems that FaZe Banks is going to be pursuing legal action against PlaqueBoyMax's team. Now, I covered all of this in a stream, which I'm going to be cutting down for you guys, as well as covering a few updates that came out while I was streaming, including another interesting post by Banks towards the end. So stick around for the end if you'd like to see those. But with all of that out of the way, if you're new here, consider subscribing, help the channel get to 100K for end of the year. It would be tight. If you appreciate me compiling all of this new information for you guys in a timely manner, consider giving the video a like. Just helps it get out in front of more people and maybe hype the video perchance. Or regardless of you doing any of that for me, just thank you for watching. The old FaZe members, Ronaldo, Lacy, Jason, Silky, all of them grouped up. I might be missing one. I can't believe I forgot Adapt. And they ended up doing a stream together today, just a few hours ago. We're going to go over some of the highlights from that. They touched a little bit on some of the drama that you might have just seen in that video that I posted. And that has to do with PlaqueBoyMax and FaZe Banks and their little tizzy online, to put it lightly. Now, originally, I thought that everybody had left, but that was untrue. There were a few people remaining that are pretty significant that I should cover now. FaZe Apex. From 2011 to 2026 today, I'm closing my chapter with FaZe Clan. Thank you to everyone that made it what it was. After joining FaZe nearly 15 years ago on March 6, 2011, today I am officially stepping away from FaZe Clan. I've been very blessed to spend half of my life as a FaZe member. I'm grateful to everyone who is a part of FaZe and to all the viewers who supported the brand at any point over the years. I always intended to see it through to the end and do what I could to help the brand succeed, and it's finally time to close this chapter. As ownership changed over the last couple of years, the leadership shifted in a way that made it difficult for me to get involved again. I have no ownership in FaZe or any related companies and no role or influence in what comes next, but I'll wish the brand success. I have a lot of love for everyone who helped build FaZe, especially the OGs early on, and I wish I'd been able to do more to keep things together over the years. I'll always be proud of what we built together and wish the best for everyone moving forward, new, old, and remaining people involved with the brand. Unfortunately, well, I guess maybe fortunately, based on what we've heard about the org so far, Rug also left. Matter of fact, while I was editing the other video, had a buddy chatting with me, actually Ogies, and we checked, and sure as shit, he left as well. Officially left FaZe Clan. This one hurts. After 13 years, I've decided to part ways with FaZe. Very grateful of everyone who's been a part of this journey and the people who became family along the way. FaZe will forever be a part of my legacy, but now the new chapter begins. Rug leaving, like, these people, genuinely, they're the last. If you go on to FaZe's Twitter, they do not follow anyone, or like they don't have any of these people left. So that truly is the last of FaZe. That kind of segues us into talking about the people who went live today. This is StableRonaldo. We're going to be using his stream for the most part here. They all went live sitting together. As you can see, Silky on Zoom as he's in New York, which you're probably going to hear in a sec. We're going to watch a good chunk of just this intro bit. It's not super long, just like a couple of minutes with them together. And it's just kind of answering all the questions of, are they sticking together? Things like that. I will say it now, in case people are looking for like super duper juicy info about what is going on behind the scenes. It is very clear, and they kind of say it themselves, that most of these dudes are still locked under NDA. So, you know, background info that people may be hoping to hear from them is not going to come out. They're going to speak about each other a bit, like we're going to hear a bit more about Max and that kind of thing from Ronaldo, but I just want to set expectations now.
Obviously, this isn't a joke. I know y'all see Silky is not here right now. He's in New York celebrating with his family for Christmas, which is understandable. He couldn't be here for this, but he's here on the thing. A week ago, we all stopped streaming during the last day of our marathon that we were doing. We didn't really, like, I know a lot of people thought, oh, we're trying to make this a joke or whatever. That's never been the thing. There's a lot of stuff that's happening, and we have decided as a group that obviously it was in our best intention to leave FaZe Clan. All the speculations that, like, oh, this is like an announcement, or this is something that we've planned, this was not planned, and this was just some things that we came to terms, and yeah.
I mean, everything that Ron said is true. The main thing I wanted to let y'all know is, cause seeing everyone leave online, like one by one, obviously it looks crazy, and you guys don't know a lot of what is happening behind the scenes. But what I can say, what I will add to that is that nothing is going to change from the viewer's perspective, from the chat's perspective, with our dynamic. Like, we are all still rocking with each other. We're all staying together. Me, Ron, Lacy, Jason, Silky, Kason, Rage. Like, we're all still doing our thing collectively and working on our own thing moving forward, and still going to be a part of each other's content. It's not like everyone's going in over here and doing their solo thing, over here and doing their solo thing. We're all still doing what exactly we were doing before, just not underneath those 4 letters anymore.
It is very clear nobody wants to be doing this. And admittedly, like, this is one of the more serious streams that they've ever had to do. And, you know, a lot of people were thinking that this was a stunt. They were doing this just to stir up a bit of attention, get some viewership, get some people in. And that is very clearly not the case at this point. A lot of people were clipping and saying that these guys were now separating and they were going to be doing their own stream content. But as you just heard Adapt say very clearly, they are sticking together. They are making content together. They even went out of his way to specify that Your Rage and Kason are going to be with them in that sense. But that's kind of a big thing. You're going to see a lot of posts saying that they're not making content together. Very clearly they are. A lot of them also mentioned, like Ronaldo, they are going to be streaming even starting tomorrow. Keep in mind, Adapt has been a part of FaZe for 14 years. I'm going to move over to the next kind of important thing, which is Ronaldo talking about Max. He starts going through one by one, just kind of giving each member their flowers. Like, he talks about Jason, Lacy, Adapt, all these people, but I want to focus on what he talks about with Max, because some of this is relevant to what Banks was saying. He was saying that these people were talking shit about each other behind their backs and stuff. And this really kind of sheds light on the perspective of the people behind the scenes.
When Max left FaZe, I gotta be able to say things properly here, obviously. For Max, when Max left FaZe, obviously I was sad. I was super sad. I was in the room with him and Jason. By the way, this is stuff that I talked to before I started this. I already talked to Max. When Max left FaZe, it was with me and Jason. I was super sad because I didn't understand why until time goes by. I've seen a lot of speculation that said that we weren't friends or that we started arguing. I want to cut that down right now and say everyone argues. Everyone goes through moments, but one thing is that we figured out stuff internally. Y'all might have not seen things externally, but we fixed things internally because no one needs to know besides us. I've been friends with Max since New Jersey. I was the one who went to his concert. There was a moment where I visited him in the hospital when he was in the hospital, and any confusion that we had with each other, we cleared up and figured out every type of problem that was being talked about, not between us, through other people. We figured out our own problems, we communicate with each other, and we got on good terms. There's been speculation that Max thought I was cringe in the beginning. I'm cringe all the time, I know that. But I also know he didn't mean it in ill intent because we figured out we figured out our problem. Us saying we hated Max when he left, I was upset. Everyone was upset. But no, it was never hate. It was just sad. And we figured that out internally. I also see a thing that says Max wanted to join back FaZe. I told Max he shouldn't join back FaZe, and I called him before this to confirm this, and he agreed. He shouldn't join back FaZe because of all the hate that he got when he left. I did not want him to get hate rejoining. I did not want people to think that he needed us, and I did not want people to think that he got forced into this, that he felt bad. I told Max, and we sat there in the hospital, and I told him, always believe in yourself, etc. I'll always defend you. I'll always be in your corner. And it was never a thing of I wanted him to join back because I knew there were still problems internally with each other.
One of Banks's points that he had made in his, I believe it was his first video, was kind of calling out that all these people hated each other and they were all, you know, fake. Ronaldo here is just kind of completely refuting this point, at least in terms of, yeah, you know, we were all talking shit. Max probably did call me cringe, but I think I'm cringe too. Like, it's just something that we hash out internally. This is how people deal with each other, especially when you're kind of in a business together. And over time, you grow to like each other. It can go that way or it can go the other. And very clearly, especially from Ronaldo's perspective here, they sorted it all out. They sorted it all out when he was at the hospital. He even told Max not to join FaZe because he was worried that he was going to get a shit ton of hate for it. It's also confirming that Max wanted to join back with FaZe, which, I mean, I'm just pointing that out that we have that further confirmed. But it's just, you know, a lot of conversations that Banks tried to paint as going one way when in fact we can see that it's much clearly going the other. So to just kind of talk about more of them having this relationship and actually kind of being friends off camera, we have this clip from Lacy talking about this stuff, and it has to do with Marlon and some of the shit that was going down, you know, coming around Christmas time.
Another person that I do want to just show a lot of love to through all this is Marlon. Genuinely, and it makes me Sorry. Bro, these guys here, I was really down this last week, y'all. Like, really down. And all these guys here, including Marlon, they kept me going, bro. I was driving at like 3 a.m., just in my car crying, and Marlon's texting me, asking me to hang out, making sure I'm good. Gone to like, I think it was like Christmas Eve, and it just means a lot that they have my back, and anybody who says that these friendships are fake, they're fucking bullshitting you.
The whole reason I want to show you guys that is just to showcase, again, this is kind of refuting Banks' claims that these guys are all just doing this for the business, that you know, deep down these people are all manipulative fucks that are just doing this for the clout, attention, and all this. When there's very, I would say, clear instances of them showing that no, like, they aren't just bullshitting. This isn't just a business thing. They aren't just all the greatest actors in the world, like Banks is saying. They genuinely seem to care for each other. Or at the very least, Lacy himself believes that, with Marlon making sure that he's good Christmas Eve, 3 a.m. I want to go over this because FaZe Rain is currently streaming right now. For those who don't know, he had covered some stuff with Temper, alleging that he had slept with 2 underage girls and admitted that to him. He's been kind of up and down, and recently he made this post here. And this is off his Instagram. Anything I've ever come out publicly has been nothing short of the truth. It's not that I'm early, it's just obvious. And if it isn't, it's clearly beyond your mind's capabilities. End of the day, I don't exist, neither does FaZe. This is karma. You turned on the man that really made this what it was. The man that showed you it was possible and showed you how to do it to fill your greed, ego, insecurities. Congratulations. He's clearly talking about himself here. You can tell comments, people are reading it as such too. How can I make this about me? Don't get me wrong. From what I understand, he contributed a lot to FaZe. He's one of the people I also watched growing up as well next to Adapt. But that's just, I don't know, that feels a bit like an ego trip. Maybe there's some justification there, being that he was a big part of FaZe. You guys can tell me, it just, yeah, feels weird. We're gonna now start jumping into a few of the gossips, a few of the things that have come out talking about PlaqueBoyMax and Banks, getting more back into talking about a lot of that shit. Very interesting. Apparently, Banks is a part of Hardscope. For those who don't know, that is the new org that was created by one of the former board members of FaZe, the Matt gentleman. He created Hardscope, and apparently Banks is a part of Hardscope, which is interesting. That hasn't really been said publicly, I don't think. Out of all people, Ludwig is here to confirm this. Ludwig says Banks hit him up representing Hardscope for the ad that was in Streamer Awards. Banks said he had no involvement regarding FaZe.
So that's problem one, right? FaZe, Banks is pushed out because he has interpersonal issues with the talent, but then he is a part of Hardscope, which I know to be true because Banks is the one who hit me up initially about that ad for Streamer Awards, and I had no clue what it was. I was just like, I don't do anything with Streamer Awards. I pass them over to Cutie. But he's a part of Hardscope in some fashion. I don't know what. I don't know if he owns a percentage of it. I don't know if he is a advisor to it. I don't know if he's an employee of it. I don't know how deep it goes. But Banks, although, you know, he can say, hey, I'm not a part of FaZe, and that be quote unquote true. It's not true to the faith of what that means because he's a part of Hardscope, at least advising, at the very least, advising to Hardscope, which directly funds FaZe Clan.
Very curious to see if Banks will leave a comment about that at all, because that is kind of interesting. Like, it's genuinely cartoonish. It's almost like a Jedi turning into a Sith for someone from FaZe, that being Banks, to switch over to Hardscope, because Hardscope is like I said in the previous video, it's practically a slur to like a trick shot or a quick scoper. If you get accused of hard scoping in a trick shot or quick scope, immediately illegitimized. It's that's ridiculous. Apparently he's representing Hardscope and they're funding FaZe, so interesting that Banks is doing that. And keep in mind, he was representing them at the very least leading into the Streamer Awards, because they ended up putting an advertisement for the Streamer Awards. This is where we kind of get into the drama surrounding a few claims that have been made by Fatboy Dip. FaZe Banks got exposed for sleeping with Charli D'Amelio when she was 17. This is just a headline like to pull clicks.
You wasn't fucking Charli D'Amelio when she was 18. And I want to take that a step further. Put it on God, you ain't fucked that bitch when she was 17. Now, gang, I did a little something. Like, I see she's from Massachusetts, too. Like, you slid in her shit like, yo, I miss home, too. Like, I want to know how you went and fucked that bitch. I know you fucked that bitch because you carrying around like an arm trophy. Bitch can't even drink, gang.
There were some claims that were being made, as you just heard, in varying degree, and also it just kind of started dispersing through Twitter and stuff that apparently Banks was dating Charli D'Amelio or sleeping with Charli D'Amelio before she was 18, when she was 17. This prompted Banks to make a bit of a response. Banks's response is despicable, evil humans. Wow, the ultimate line has been crossed. To lie about something so disgusting and harmful is despicable. You guys are pure evil. For the record, I first met Charli in April of 2024. a couple of weeks before her 20th birthday. Our relationship is nobody's business, and it's disgusting that these people lied about it to hurt me with zero regard for how it affects her. I'm on the phone with Charlie as I type this. This is beyond unfair. Neither her or I deserve this, and again, we will be in pursuit of the truth and handling this legally moving forward. Our lawyers will be in contact with PlaqueBoyMax team. Now, people are like, Max has not talked about this relationship at all, which is true. However, his cousin, who we just saw talking about this and making those allegations, or at least asking him and, being quite on the nose about it, he is on Max's team, which for him to be reaching out to Max's team, that does line up. Like, his cousin is a part of that. But he also included a screenshot here. Charlie D'Amelio on FaceTime, and you can actually see right above me here, Charlie left a thumbs up here. Now, additionally, just for the sake of doing some research on it, I was like, I didn't really recognize anyone talking about him talking to a minor, and so I did a little bit of research. There is no evidence that is confirming that Banks and Charlie were interacting before or while she was 17. Matter of fact, there was no recorded stuff until 2024, like a year and a half ago, I think. FaZe Banks has responded to rumors that he's secretly dating Charlie D'Amelio after video surfaced seemingly showing the two stars appearing to hold hands at Coachella. And this is them doing so. Despite him mentioning his girlfriend, there were no signs of the unknown woman at Coachella. Apparently, it was like a cheating scandal. At this time, she was, I believe, 19, turning to 20. Like he was saying, met before her 20th. Like there's no, not really even close to the timeline that would make sense for her being a minor. From what I've seen, no information proving any of that there was anything that they were talking about. He said he's 34 now, so 2 years ago he would have been like 32 while she's 19. He was either 32, 31. Have your thoughts about that. Interested to see if he's actually going to take legal action. That'd be pretty interested. They hit 25, he's done with them. He's not DiCaprio. I'm kidding. DiCaprio's like done with them at 20. Yeah, groomer allegation. Yeah, people are saying that they groomed. So that's also why I was doing that research, to see if there was grooming. But again, from what I've seen, if anyone can showcase it, there didn't seem to be any documentation of them interacting before she was, before they were interacting, hanging out at Coachella. Maybe they could have been talking beforehand. Like if they were talking for a year, she would have been 18. Like that it just ends up being speculative without any evidence to prove that or to corroborate it. I'm just double checking. I don't think there's any other huge updates that have come out yet. Okay, well, maybe this is something. Apparently, Rain is clarifying that for the contract, it was 20% of everything. This is only 8 seconds, though.
What was the contract? To my knowledge, it was just 20% of everything.
It makes sense. Now, keep in mind, business-wise, I've done acting and modeling stuff, and when you're working with an agency for any of that stuff, they're like, the default percentage that they take is a 20% cut. Now, that is with advertisements. If you're on YouTube, you might have a brand manager, and the same thing. The general percentage that they're going to be asking for is 20% of the sponsorship deals. That's how it works. Now, 20% of everything, which includes the revenue share, includes the sponsor deals, includes, I'm assuming, merchandise, if we're saying everything, well, that ends up, racking up quite a bit more. I will admit that if you're under an organization and you're doing like merchandise, for instance, it would also make sense for 20% there, because you're probably using the FaZe logo. You're probably using the likeness of FaZe in that sense. Oh, Banks just posted, this is the end of @FaZe Clan. I wish you guys could see my heart. I'm sorry to everyone I let down. I really tried my best. Wishing everyone involved a happy, healthy, and successful life moving forward. It's over. I give up. I quit. Amen. Editor Quinthio here. I'm not allowed to play the audio from this clip. I think it's from like a Steve Will Do It or like the Full Send podcast, and they copyright struck my own live stream. But essentially, this clip is just Aiden Ross and one of these Nelk boys, I can't remember his name, going back and forth and just stroking this shit out of Banks. You can already see I'm not really handling it super well. I'm going to cut to my face and I'm like, what the fuck am I listening to? It's literally just this clip of them like stroking Banks's shit and just giving him a ton of praise. Admittedly, little heated because they sent a copyright claim to my video. They can suck their eggs. Admittedly, I did just kind of play the full clip. It's probably just my fault, and I'm just heated because I have to do extra work. But yeah, I'll just leave a link down in the description to this post from FaZe Banks. You can watch it for yourself, and then let me know in the comments. Eat shit and die, Full Send podcast. So yeah, Banks just made posted his own personal gluck. That's everything we have so far. If there's any other updates, I'll be sure to make a video. But that's it. See you guys later. Adios. Peace. Bye.